Welcome to a quick mini drag the lake. We had some scheduling problems today and stuff like that. With if you guys know, Mondays can be a little bit erratic because we have panties. We record. We all have panties. All of us who do the pod wear panties. Like it's not just a silly little title, guys. It's a way of life. It's not just we're not just in it. We're not just in it for the shits and the gigs. We're in it for the actual, the life. We're trying to live that life. We're trying to live that honest, panty filled life. But sorry, let me pull up the different things. Hey, look at that. Racism one. Slav first in the chat. But yeah, so no, it was kind of funny. There was so I think they're doing Matt and Shane, because whenever Shane's not here, they record Matt and Shane at, well, I don't want to say. But you guys see it. They do the podium episodes, and they usually record those on Mondays. And so we it's kind of funny. It's just so funny. I just love I mean, Pat probably doesn't love it because he's the producer who has to do all the stuff. We really appreciate all the deucing. It's top tier deucing over there. Like with Pat George over on Panties in the Mouth. You guys really need to show the deucer some love. I need to show the deucer some love actually, because I was looking at all the stuff. There we go. Defeated racism. St. Ivan first in the chat. Good for you, brother. No, but what the fuck was I saying? Wait, I completely got sidetracked. Dunbar's here. I completely got sidetracked with St. Ivan defeating racism. Yeah, not going to be a full ep today. I am going to see if Pat wants to do it tomorrow. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. It's funny to me because I don't have shit to do the next 3 days. You know what I mean? It was kind of funny. We were gonna do a thing Wednesday. And so I called off I said, can't park cars today, guys. And they were like, it's okay. You have very important talking about cum business. I was like, I do. I have very, very important business. I have to talk about a lot of cum. And then that got canceled. And then I was like, yeah, I can work Wednesday. And he's like, sorry, I already set the schedule. So Big Red accidentally got himself a 3-day weekend. I was a little bit annoyed, but also 3-day weekend seems nice. three-day weekend seems pretty heckin' nice. Hey, Farwild in the chat. What's up, brother? Oh, I should say too, by the way, if you a couple of you guys listen to this on iTunes, you watch the YouTube replay, Drag the Lake 3732 on YouTube. Watch it live. Also twitch.tv/AndyMalafrina. You can watch that shit live. It was a little bit of a late start today because, like I was saying before, we had the scheduling conflict. We're so. Oh yeah, and this is what I was saying before, where I do appreciate all the deucing from Pat the Deucer. He deuces hard, nonstop every day deucing. But he just has to do all this logistical thing, and then today, Lemaire's just like. Okay. Oh yeah, because they're recording Matt and Shane actually like right now, and he thought that was gonna run into panties, and then so it's like, okay, we moved it to Tuesday. Well, Lemaire has to record this like poker show thing he does on Tuesday. It's like, so we can do it later, and these are all just because like Lemaire's really funny the way he like approaches a text. Like today when he texted about. I thought it was like, in hindsight, it was funny. There's always these like little moments of like, but then like it gets resolved and you're like, oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. But like in that moment, you're like, why is this happening? But it was just, I don't know why. It was like frustrating, but also just hilariously Lemaire, where you like wake up and it's like 9:30 and you just get a text and it's like, okay, so all that stuff we were doing. Oh yeah, because that's how he texts. It's like piecemeal. It's not like the whole context to give you it's just piecemeal, little bits here and there. You gotta figure it out. It's like playing a game of it's like when you hit the puzzle in God of War. You know what I mean? It's like you're figuring out the Lamese puzzle, figuring out the Lamese. And then because it was just making me laugh. And so like it took, all that time to figure out when we were gonna do it. And then, again, it's just it just makes me it makes me laugh how bad we all are at they're worse, but how bad we all are at communication. Cause it'll be like, hey, we can't do the podcast on Monday. And then because if someone texts you that, like, hey, we can't do the podcast Monday, would you I don't know. The way I am, I'm almost just like, you're not giving me anything. It's like, why? When do you want to do it? All that stuff. And then it's like you fucking hit him back, and it's just like, oh yeah. You have to like pull it out of him. You're like, what do you because that's always like a funny thing. It's always like a funny thing. Lemaire Nate's kind of like this too, where he would like send that text. He would send that text, and if you never responded to it, I don't know what would happen. But maybe that's a little bit of me because that's why me and Pat get along. It's kind of funny because like I always say me and Nate are sort of like the equal opposite, what black and white of each other, and then Lemaire and Pat are very similar. They're the white and black version of each other. But then when it comes to like podcasting and planning things, it's me and Pat are more similar, and Lemaire and Nate are more similar with like our podcast styles and stuff like that. But so that could also be my anxiety of like you just get sent that text, and then I'm sitting there being like, because there is part of me that like, because it's like how some people text. It's like how some people text, quit worrying about details, Andy. I love worrying about details. I love work. What do you tell me? Why don't you tell the caged bird not to sing, Dunbar? Oh man, I'm busting for some Big Red. Let's go, St. Colt. You and me can fucking lay in a bed and eat some chicken fingers together, you fucking little slut. But no, I'm saying, Dunbar, can I just overanalyze something like I'm fucking Larry David? Can I just Larry David on you real quick? Can I just overanalyze a text exchange? Um, Andy on the first appearance on a fair one. You and Nate were so fucking swagged out. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I randomly got drunk a couple weeks ago, and I watched one of my appearances on a fair one. Dude, I gotta tell you, I like doing comedy. I like podcasting. I like doing stand up. I like doing all that stuff. I hate I hate that we gotta record. I gotta tell you, I hate that we record it. I hate that we have to record it and then it just stays there. Bro, there's nothing worse. Also, it makes me fucking it's just like I go back and I see old videos of Shane and I'm like, oh, you were also like, why do you have to be good all the time at it? It makes me pissed off. See old videos of Shane, when he was still only because that's the part that fucking you get annoyed about. I'll see old videos of me, and then I'll just be like, but I was like a newer comic. And then you realize Shane's right there and he's only been doing it for a year or two longer than you. And you're like, you fucking piece of shit, always been good at this. It's so irritating. But you know what I mean? Where you want to give yourself, it's like you want to give yourself the benefit of the doubt, then you're on there right next to him, and he's like, oh yeah, you've been fucking whatever. No, he's been very funny the whole time, and it's very frustrating. It's very annoying. Why are you so good at things, Shane? But no, for real, I was like watching an old clip of Fair One. You know what it was too? There was the old clip I was watching of myself on a Fair One. I was like, I remember they asked me to it was cool because like I would sit on the couch a lot of times and hit some zingers here and there. But then I remember Tommy and Shane asked me to like go on at the desk. And dude, I'm watching this just being like, because I was just, every so often I search my name on YouTube just to see what pops up. And this one popped up and it reminded me of like when I first started out, when I would be anxious, I would just like, oh, dude, I was like overdoing it so fucking much. I was like just being over the top, just being like a heightened, but it was because I was like anxious. And rather than, because like I had never, no one was really like listening to the podcast, and I knew people watch Shane and Tommy's show. Like a lot of people watch that on Compound or whatever a lot for Compound was. Because basically on Compound, it was Anthony Cumia got a bajillion views, and then everyone else just kind of got whatever. But no, I know they were doing good. And dude, I remember when they finally sat me there. Because also too, you got Shane and Tommy. They're both fucking hilarious. So I was like, and I was still like, me, not like didn't have anything at the time. I don't even think I did like Real Life podcasts or like any of that shit. I don't think I did any of that shit at that time. Because I actually got to give a shout out to Tommy because him bringing me on, I was on an episode. It was like Tommy and then Shannon was there. And that's where I met Shannon Lee at Gas Digital. And we did that episode together. That one went really well. And then Shannon hit me up like 2 weeks later to do Real Ass Podcast. So Tommy and Shane bringing me on a fair one got me sort of into like the Gas Digital sphere, which was very cool of them to do. And but yeah, I remember because I was watching that episode back. I was just hammered at home, Googling myself. I was hammered at home, Googling myself. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the Tourette's guy. Don't worry. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Shane is CIA. I forgot about that. He is very good at comedy, but it's CIA, so all of his success is fake. It's just I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Whenever I'm upset about my career, I'm just gonna go. Shane is CIA though. He is a CIA operative, so you know what I mean. Like this is my struggle as a freedom fighter. Thank you, Multitoad. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, but I remember watching it and I was just like so anxious and nervous and like overdoing it. And because I was like, dude, I realized I had never been on a thing that was like live that actual people watched, and it like fucked my shit up. And like my problem back then was like, oh shit, like sometimes when people get nervous, they like lay in the cut. They like lay in the cut and chill the fuck out, which is kind of what I should have done. But I was like, I went the whole other direction. And I'm sure it's like not that bad for like if you guys are watching it, because if you fuck with me, I'm sure it's kind of like just fun to be like, oh, that's what Andy was like 10 years ago or whatever. But for me, it's just like, I'm hard on myself in a very unconstructive way that like I watch that and it's just like, fuck, it like bugs me. It's not fun. It's like not fun. You know what I mean? It's like really, really fun to podcast. It's really fun to podcast. It's really fun to do comedy. It's fucking horrendous to watch that shit back sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Even when cause we pay Gabeline Mike to make clips, even when he makes us a clip, he'll send it back and it's like the clip will be funny, but I don't know. I gotta learn to not be so fucking overly critical. Oh, but I was gonna make the joke about Lemaire's texting where so we did all that to rearrange the podcast, which is fine. It's you know what it is? I was telling my wife about this. It's the kind of shit that's annoying. It's annoying in the moment, but I think I get annoyed because it's they're not always the best at responding to text messages. So and I'm also can we just figure this out? I don't like when things are up in the air like that. It's as I'm saying it out loud, it's definitely I could definitely hit a more go with the flow vibe on it. But yeah, we did all that and then we figured it out. And then this morning at 9:30, Lemaire's like, hey, can we do the podcast today? It's just dude, what? But then, we're going back and forth and I don't know. We already changed it. Da, da, da. But then later he's like, well, we might be able to get Joe List on it. And then, because he's in town and he's hanging out with him or whatever. And then he's like, also, we're all downtown already. So this was just work out. And it's like, oh, start with that. I'm realizing this isn't that fucking interesting as I'm saying it, but it is funny. It is just, he's not always the best texter is what I'm getting at. But But yeah, so that was why today got a little bit out of whack. That's why we started later. Because we had to like reschedule some things. We're gonna talk to Pat and see if he wants to like record tomorrow. But I still wanted to hit you guys with a little bit of a stream. I'm not getting out of here yet, but I still wanted to hit you with a little bit of a stream because try to keep some. I know we were like start an hour. I started an hour late, but try to keep some consistency. I do appreciate how you guys all just hop the fuck in here and hang the fuck out. But yeah, what were you guys saying? When the camera cut to you two, it audibly went, "Oh shit, Andy is swagged out." Oh, thank you. I was also like in better shape then. And random. Yo, Dunbar, chill, dude. Dude. I gotta give it to you, Dunbar. You fucking because you've probably consumed the most. You've probably consumed me the most, Dunbar. You've out of all the people who've watched me on things, I think you've watched the most of me on things. And I can't get one by you, dude. I can't get calling me out for saying randomly got drunk is so funny. But yes, thank you for saying I'm swagged out. I don't know what was I wearing. Do you know BLP Kosher and Riff Raff released a new song together? Mind blown. I didn't know that. I'm so excited to not. I'm so excited. Oh yeah, Shane CIA. Nah, it was funny, dude. Watching. You forget that's a big thing. I was always impressed with. I didn't like. I can't. You realize that like when we were all younger. I'm not gonna fuck around. Shane was always like the funniest dude. He was always like the dude because I remember it was a show at the Reading Comedy Outlet. That's where Nate hosted an open mic all the time. And I remember Shane was doing it was like Shane and Sydney, I think, were doing like a co-headlining thing. And I remember watching Shane's set. And I was friends with Shane. I knew he was funny. You know what I mean? But I didn't know he was like funny. You know what I mean? Like, because we're all new. And I didn't like watch him as much for whatever reason. You're like, not, you know what I mean? And then he was at the we were all hanging out there, and I sat there and I was watching him like deal with hecklers and shit and deal with a rowdy crowd. And I was like, it was like that. It was probably like 4 years in, and you're like, oh, he just like gets this way better than we do. You know what I mean? And it's like, I remember like 4 years in being like, watching him do crowd work felt like the shit you would see like, like a typical, and I'm not trying to just like fucking like jerk the dude off. It is just straight up. You're like, oh, he just, because I think that's what, it's kind of funny. We're talking about Shane right now because it was really, I was thinking about this shit. You know how they talk about like the 10,000 hours? I was thinking about the 10,000 hours, and I think I got to think about this more because I don't know if it's about 10,000 hours. I think it's more about like getting it, like getting who you are, or like just getting how the thing is done. Cause like you could put in 10,000 hours. Cause I'm realizing this because like, I've just been on a journey since, honestly, probably I've just been on a mental health journey, guys, because I'm pretty fucking cool. But no, it was like, um, I don't know, however long it's been, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I started to realize I was like, I'm mad all the time. And even when I'm not mad, I'm thinking about things that are making me mad. So I'm just mad all the time. So I've just been on, and a lot of it, a lot of it is my two big problems with getting mad is like getting too angry or just constantly stewing over just just old shit. Like my big thing is like if I had an interaction, I thought you wronged me and you didn't properly apologize for it. It's that like it's that like Irish part of me that like holds on to that and never lets go. Just holds on to it. So I just like stuff like that'll pop into my head and I'll just get furious about stuff. And then like I'll apply a fucking what are we doing? I'll apply, you know, if we had an argument for if we did a thing, if you did a thing to me forever ago and you never made it square, I'll be like, no, 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 you still got this. You still got this on you, dude. So I was like, and then so that's just, but less so about what's going on in my head. I was just like, you know, so over the past, however many fucking years of me just being like, dude, I can't just be this angry all the time. It's like actually exhausting. It's like making me depressed every fucking day. It's making me depressed and it's making me annoying to be around. Although I think I put a little bit of that too much on myself because I'll always be like, I'll always be like, oh, I'm not enjoyable to be around. But it is like, oh yeah, but all of my friends never leave me. And I really do have like, I feel blessed that I do have a norm. Like there is a bit of a norm from Cheers response when I walk into rooms. It is one of my biggest, I don't know if I'm being braggadocious or not, but it's like, you know, I'm no one in these spaces. So like being able to like walk up to the creek, like I remember when I was when I was in college, my friends would always make fun of me because like we'd all walk down to like they would all go like, all right, let's see how many people fucking dap up Andy on the way to we'd go to the cafeteria. They'd be like, let's see how many people dap up Andy. I think it's because I'm a good listener. I'm a really good listener, and like I'll like be engaging when I'm talking to you, and I'll be like, you know, if I'm talking to you, I'm being like, yo, what's good with you? It's not always true all the time. But I don't know. I don't know. I just have I like that's what they would make fun. That's what they would joke about in college, where it's like we'd walk down to the cafeteria, and by the time we get there, there'd be like they'd laugh because it'd be like five or six people, hard dap up, and I'd say a thing to be like, oh, you guys have a like a relationship with some depth to it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just like to be nice, dude. I'm curious. I like people. I'm just curious about people sometimes, man. Um, the fuck was I saying though? Oh, but like, so yeah, I think, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I think I'm like a little hard on myself about how I think I'm kind of hard on myself when I say like, oh, I'm not a fun hang. Cause I'm actually a fun hang. Cause I'm like depressed. I get like all sad and depressed when I'm alone because I have a bad thought process that makes me depressed. But then when I'm around people, I go like, oh, cool. I don't have to like worry about shit. I just like, I'm a big like, what are we doing, guys? You know what I mean? I'm not always the one that planned a party, but when you set the party up, I'll help it. I'll help it stay lively. You know what I'm saying? I'd be a good. I feel that's why I feel like I'd be a good DJ. Um, but yeah, dude, I'm like, so I was like trying to figure out why I was mad about everything all the fucking time. And basically, the short version of it is I was just like, oh, I've just had the wrong mindset about most things. And I'm saying that a little bit to be funny. Like I said, most things, because, you know, I'm a comedian, can't help it. Always on, just chilling it every day. No, but for real, I was like, I was really realizing like, oh, I was having like a bad, just the short version of it. I was like, I kind of had the wrong mindset on a lot of things in life, just bad perspective on things, you know? And I was getting mad about that, you know? And then I was like, because also too, like we've talked a bunch about like I've talked a bunch about here. I was like, I just feel, or I don't know if I said it. I don't know if I said it as plainly as this, but I just haven't felt that. Like I really like podcasting. I really like joking around with my friends, fucking around. But when it comes, and I like doing stand up, but that like drive to like really go out and do run sets and just do like I don't know. I've just had this I've had this thing where it's like I think about comedy. I'm just like ugh. But I've also like no, but you like to be funny, you know. And it's like you know, I'm trying to like be honest with myself and be like, do I have like the wrong mindset? And wait, I'll bring this back to the thing I was saying about Shane. But you know, because I was also thinking about like with certain things with like lack of success, where like, well, like when they tell you about all this stuff with like success, they'll be like, you have to believe in yourself, and you're like, well, no, because I believed in myself the whole time. Like that's the problem. I actually believed in myself. I've joked about this before with Pat. I believed in myself too much at times. there was a lot of times where it was genuinely like you are like it's not just like, oh, you got to be kind of crazy to succeed at this. It's like no, like the way you're looking at things is borderline like you're becoming an egomaniac, you know? You're becoming an egomaniac who's good at hiding it. Cuz like a lot of these things people will be like, "What are you talking about?" I'll be like, "Bro, you don't know what was like ruminating up here." So there'd be like a lot of things where it'd be like, oh, it'd be like coming off like I'd be like a fucking, like, I don't know, man. Like one time I got high and I watched The Matrix and I was like, there was like a part of me that was like, I should be Neo. I should save the world. And you're like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Because it's just that like you're whole married to like having some sort of like fucking purpose. You know what I mean? And you have to be like, well, actually that kind of coincides with like my bad mindset is I was so attracted to stuff like that. Like it was part of the reason I was so attracted to the political thing because I was like, oh, everything's fucking terrible. I have to fucking fix this. And you have that like, dude, and it goes back to the Jordan Peterson shit. And he's like, pre-Benzos, pre-Zionist fucking retard. The dude was just bars. That's where like the clean your room shit. It's like so true. It's like, dude, stuff because that's where like if your mindset all the time is just going on like, oh, I'm gonna fix everything. Especially too, it was like Rich coming from me because like, who the fuck are you, dude? You know what I mean? Like, you haven't really accomplished a whole lot. Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? You're just going around like, oh, I'm just gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out and fix everything. That even too, like, I remember I got mad at Nate when he like called me out where I was talking about like I was talking about the conspiracy stuff. And I was like, dude, what if I'm the guy who figures it out? And then Nate calls me out. And it's like, I remember I got mad at him because it's like, fuck you. Like, you gotta think big. You know what I mean? But then I started to realize where it's like, oh no, even in that, and I think I've mentioned this before with like comedy. Like, so like even with the conspiracy shit, even with like getting into comedy, even with getting into like podcasting and stuff like that. It's like one of my big motivations were always like I wanted to get good at it and I was curious about it, like with the conspiracy stuff. But all those things revolved around like the glory, the glory. I'm gonna get the glory. Like I remember like a big part of starting stand up was like, oh, I'm gonna get good at this. This should be easy. And then everyone's gonna think I'm hilarious and I'm gonna think I'm awesome. You know what I mean? And then if you look at someone like, you know, Shane, I'm sure Shane's mindset from the beginning, he's always just like, I just want to get really good at stand up, and it's like, you almost wonder because it's like, if I'm a guy, because I feel like I've hit my 10,000 hours, give or take, you know what I mean? And it's like, just because you put in all that work, if you had like a retarded mindset the whole time, was it any, you know what I mean? Does that matter? You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost, it's not so much about just the 10,000 hours. It's like the quality of the 10,000 hours, so maybe it is still true, but it's like, cause I was thinking about, no, and again, it's like awkward because he's like my friend and I know him and stuff. But Shane the comedian, it is, you look at him and he's like, it is like the fucking, for most comedians, it'd be like in a lot of scenarios, it is that like idealized, like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, and it's like, well, he's actually like doing all that. You know what I mean? That like, and wait, fuck. What was the point I was trying to make? God damn it. My brain's all over the place. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then you like look at other dudes, and I don't think it's a born with it thing. But if you look at other dudes that have like a type of success, it's not even success. Like it's the type of success. Like a guy like Shane, or I mean, whatever the basketball equivalent would be, or the business equivalent. There's like versions of that. You're like, oh, I think it's just like, it's either just getting it or getting yourself from the jump, which kind of coincides with like, ironically, not doing this aggressive overthinking, trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So it's like bringing it back to the earlier thing, the 10,000. I know I'm all over the place. I apologize, guys. But the like 10,000 hours, that's the big thing I was thinking about. That's one of the big things I was thinking about over the weekend. Oh, and I'm also realizing just like go with the flow is probably just the best thing. It sounds super simple, but I'm like, it's at, cause dude, I was in like such a weird, cause I don't know how to articulate it properly. Cause I was also in like a headspace where it was like, cause I always associate myself with being lazy, which I'm not. I'm actually not. Cause like once you hit me with something I like, I work very hard at it. But it's just I don't have the energy for some shit I don't like. Um what are you saying? Other things that help Shane is that it's just the whites turn in comedy. The blacks had a good run, but it's whites turn and Shane was just perfect timing. I mean, yeah, I mean the timing and stuff like that definitely helped him, but you know, um I mean also too like the canceling helped him. Like all that stuff kind of helped him to like build his story, but he would have still, I think if he didn't have that like quick fame, maybe he would have gone more of a Stanhope route or something like that. But fuck, what was I thinking about? What was I fucking thinking about? Um, I was thinking about the overthinking. It's like finding your niche, like fisting. Exactly. Getting good at something. Getting good at time interests to me. He's not lazy. He's unmotivated. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The cancellation of Shane was a move of the CIA. Well, you know the funniest thing about the video that got him canceled? Dude, it was literally like they had like Matt and Shane at the time recorded one video and then they posted that and then they were like, we don't like worrying about this. It was like before they had a producer, they were like, we don't want to worry about this. So they like took it down. Yeah, because I think they had it up for a little bit, then took it down. And so it was like that whoever fucking had it initially was just sitting on that video. It was just waiting. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. But no, oh yeah, I was talking about Matt said worse shit on that episode. I bet. Matt, dude, a video popped up recently. Matt has one of my like favorite podcast moments where there's that it just popped up this morning again. Shane says something about like Mexico is the first people to get rid of slavery. And then Matt just goes like, the boys just wanted to work so goddamn bad. That fucking that shit gets me every single fucking time. That shit's so funny. Oh, but no, I always like associated myself. Well, I think I just realized I was like I was approaching comedy and like being funny the wrong way for me. Not necessarily that it's wrong because it's the method I was going about it worked for a lot of people, but just how I am, it was like wrong for me. And that's why I always felt like me, like, and I think that's why I sort of built up this hatred for comedy. Cause it's like it's tough, but there's like a lot of stuff that's tough that you still do because it's like you're doing it for the right reasons. I think I was just like approaching it for all the like I was just looking at it all the wrong not doing it for me because I was like, I always just lived with the base level of like, well, I suck ass. I'm lazy, I'm a loser. You know what I mean? I remember telling my wife this one time and she like yelled, she like in a very loving way actually just like yelled at me about it. And cuz I was like I remember I was like I was working a shitty job and she was like, "Yo, you need to like," and I was like having a lot of I was just a lot of bills. And she was like, "You need to," she's like, "You need to," she's like, "Why don't you go for," I think she was like telling me to like try to apply for a better job or high paying job. And I was just like, I'm not a guy who's supposed to have jobs like that. I forget exactly how I phrased it, but it was like super. I was like, I'm a fucking loser. How am I supposed to get those? Like, why? Like, I'm not supposed to have those. I'm not supposed to have those things. I'm not supposed to have that. And she's like, you got to cut that shit out right now. She's like, knock it off. Stop that. You're not, there's no, like, I think I like live my life as this, like, oh, I'm predestined to be a loser. And I like almost believe that in my core. So I sort of like, live that out. It's like, it's that kind of like, what do they call it? What do they fucking call it? You like, I like manifest that shit. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It's like you manifest that shit. You know what I mean? What's the fucking phrasing they use? I haven't kept up with chat. Hi guys. Um yeah, self-fulfilling. That's what I was trying to look for. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I think I've done that. That's what I was like. Yeah, that's like a really good. That's kind of like what I think I've done to myself. And so it's basically taught me to never believe in myself. Oh shit, that's what it is. I've taught myself to never believe in myself because because I go, I'm a loser. So the way you're doing it could never be good. So you got to go figure out how other people do it and do it like them. And I'm constantly trying to, brother, this is why I sympathize with gay dudes so much. Like the gay dudes who are trying not to be gay. I go, you can't not do it. You know what I mean? Like I can't not be gay. I think that's really what it is. I'm like, I'm like my own breed of like retard, you know? I'm my own breed of retard, and I'm really just trying. And I go like, but you're a retard, so you got to go do the other shit. And it's like, I'm just not. It's turning into you know what I mean? And it's like, it's that thing of like, dude, just accept who you are. You know what I mean? Just accept that because you can't not be that. That's really, I think, like what it is. So I've been spending the whole time just being like, just trying to be someone else. Because that was the thing. I was like, because that was what I was realizing watching like old clips of myself. I go like, when you can watch it, because I'm watching me in my like mid-20s. So that's a whole different guy. That's a whole different human being. And it's just like, just from what I know about comedy, I'm watching a guy. I watch the video and I go, that guy is not confident. That guy is putting on a show in a bad way. He's being performative. He's not being himself. He's not comfortable. He's not being himself. And then I started to realize, I started to see more clips. I really should just like watch myself more often, actually, now that I think about it. But that's why I wasn't watching myself, because I was like, I fucking suck. I think I'm gonna start watching myself more. I actually think like it's genuinely going to hugely benefit myself, because it's like, it's being able to look at yourself from like a third party, almost like in a more unbiased way. It's like able to step outside of yourself and look at yourself that way in a more unbiased way. Except I will accept your Bill Miller's fist sculpt, Saint Culp. But yeah, it's like kind of that shit. But yeah, I think that's like the tip I've been on the whole time, of just like, I was like, I suck ass, so I got to be someone else. But as I'm being someone else, I'm just like, I'm coming off phony and disingenuous is another word I was looking for. I've been acting very disingenuous. Yeah. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes. Yeah, but that was like the trouble I was always running in, because I was like, you got to be yourself. And I was like, says who? Says who? You don't know me. You don't know me. I'm literally like the worst dude. I'm the worst guy. I'm a fucking loser, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was younger, they're like, what do you want to do for a living? And I literally thought all I would, and I don't mean to shit on the jackass guys, because they provided me so much joy and happiness when I was a child. But like when I was younger, I was like, I was like, the best I could do is hope to fucking get beat up for money or something like that. You know what I mean? That's why I like Jackass so much. I like Jackass so much because when I saw it, I was like, oh, here's like a solid career. Here's like a career path I could actually do. damn. I really just been fucking hammering on myself of how much a loser I've been this whole time, and I like haven't been. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing I've been realizing. Like every single time I talk about, like I get mad at people because I think they're fucking with me, but it's like I think other people see me for who I am way better than I can see myself for who I am. Because every time I describe myself, you know, besides the anger shit, because I know I'm angry. I can't not know I'm angry, but like I'll describe myself as like a loser or like annoying or what, and people are always like, you're not, like you're absolutely lovely to be around, Andy. We like having you at things and stuff like that. But wait, what were you guys saying? To be yourself, you have to beat yourself, bro. And I'm working on that shit every night of my goddamn life. But yeah, I think I just need to. And no, bringing it back to, but this kind of correlates to the Shane thing and like the 10,000 hours. And it's like, I think the 10,000 hours might be a little bullshit. I think it's way more on just be yourself, like truly. And I think that's like like if you just be yourself and get it, because that's why, I mean, when Shane first started, he probably got it. You get your sea legs, but yeah, by like 4 or 5 years in, when you kind of like 4 or 5 years in is really when most dudes sort of figure out the nuts and bolts of doing comedy. You know what I mean? Because you got to figure out how to actually like write a joke and stuff. Even if you're the funniest guy ever, you got to figure out how to construct a joke and things like that. But yeah, 4 or 5 years, and again too, because I saw another random clip popped up of Shane on a fucking like YouTube or something, and I think also too, like I think Shane leans into the fucking doofus role, because it's probably just beneficial to the whole comedic experience in general. Um, but like anyone who watches this shit, you're like, oh, he's a smart guy, he works hard. Because no, I saw a clip where he was saying he's like when he first started, he would make sure to write a new 5 minutes every week. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, when I first started, I would write down premises and go, I'll figure it out on stage. You're like, it just all comes back to that, like the mindset shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think it's like, yeah, you do the 10,000 hours to get the skill set, but I think a dude like him just kind of got it, and he kind of like knew who he was and just didn't overthink it and just, went with the flow and leaned into that. And then I've just been, I'm a guy who's been spending all the time just hyper fixating on, well, what's the exact right way to, you know what I mean? And then, but that, like I was saying before, but because it's like I didn't trust to just be myself. And the older I get and the more, like, I get more positive reactions when I'm just being myself. You know what I mean? Like you get these little moments. You get these like I have these little moments of evidence and stuff like that where like I'd be like making TikToks and shit just because you're supposed to make a fucking tick, and even that, because you're supposed to, and then it's like I'm not getting that much shit. And then I go, oh, I'm just gonna make, and I make this one TikTok not thinking about it, where I'm like, oh, I really like this band. You guys should go check it out. And then it just like those like blow the fuck up, and it's like, or I make that one jokey one about Texas Roadhouse and that shit just blows up. Or how I've been on podcasts lately where I'm like just being myself, not thinking about it. Yeah, dude, you know what? The more I'm thinking about it too, where it's like, I'm just like, I don't know if I like myself, but I just have to like not care, because it's like the second you start acting like someone, I mean, Lemaire's a great example, because like he gets so much shit on the internet, but he's just like, the thing about him is he's just unapologetically himself. That's another problem of mine. I'm very apologetically myself. I'm super apologetically. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm here. Oh man. Contrarian barbarian. That is so fucking funny. Holy shit. The Contrarian Barbarian is so fucking funny. But yeah, man. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's about loving yourself, but I think it's about like just being you, especially too if you're gonna do it like in this shit. It's just about being you, man. You know, not overthinking it. Cause that's my problem. That's always been my problem doing stuff. Like I remember like uh what the fuck? Like recording when I was in bands and we'd record our music, that would always stress me out. Where it'd be like, oh, let's put reverb on this. How do we do the effects? Da 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 da. Like I remember I was like, because I'm a drummer, I'd be decent at making beats and shit like that. I will say this though, I thrive in simplicity. It's like why my cell phone stresses me out is because there's a million fucking options and avenues. Like I'm thinking about it right now. Like I was always good at making beats because I I was a drummer. So I just naturally had rhythm and the instinct for it and shit like that. But like when it came to like what's the right sound, you're like and then there's a million fucking kick sounds and all that. Like I'd be a good beat maker in like the 80s when they just had Casio keyboards and not all these like over the top programs. Like all that shit just gives me, I've always kind of been like that too. All that I work way better in like in a very streamlined setting. Now that I'm thinking about it, like it was always like that with jobs. Like I remember like I'd be able to, when I was working in a warehouse, I'd be able to like unload a forklift really easily. Or I'm sorry, unload a truck with a forklift. Like I would constantly get dudes complimenting me, and I still hold my head up high to this day. Dudes constantly be like, man, nobody unloads my truck this quick. You're the quickest I've ever seen. Like, because if you give me a very you just got to get a bigger TV, dude. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I do need a bigger TV. Actually, I have a decently big for a bedroom TV right here. It just doesn't work. And also, you can't just throw away a TV, I guess. Fucking stupid pussy society. Can't just throw chemicals into the fucking woods. Let me throw my TV into the woods. No, I've always been better on that with like the streamlined shit. You know what I mean? Like you give me a video game with a very specific task, I can get really, like I remember I got like pretty, like if I crush Fortnite, I'll get pretty good at Fortnite. I get bored really easily with stuff. I get bored very easily with shit. You know what I mean? Like when I play Fortnite, I'll play it like hardcore and then I'll overdo it and then I'll not want to play it forever and I'll stop playing it for a couple. Like I haven't played Fortnite since what the fuck? Yeah, I was playing it hardcore for The Simpsons. And then the new thing came out and I was playing it for a little bit. And then the South Park skins came out. And I remember I bought the butter skin and then I just lost something about it was like, my cherry popped on that kind of shit. And I was just like, that's not, I'm done. I don't care. And then I just haven't played that game for like 2 months now. But no, it's like, I'm thinking about it with like the beat making shit. Yeah, you know what's funny too? Because like I always kind of joke like I kind of want to be a DJ, but like I would love the DJing is cool as fuck to me, especially too just being able to be just being able to be on like vibe management all night is fun to me. Just making sure the fucking vibes are high. No, but like I'm thinking about like beat making because I was always again being a drummer, having good rhythm, always good at making the beat but when it came to like fine tuning it and figuring out the right settings, it was always stressful. It was always like, I don't fucking know. Like what? There's too many options. But then it's like, if I sit at a drum set, I'm like, well, I have these 4 drums and these 5, like I have like, well, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I have 4 drums and 4 cymbals. I can only do so many things. That's why you'd see like the Neil Pearts of the world with their gigantic drum sets. And I'd just be like, that's too many drums. You know what I mean? I think I am like a less is more kind of guy. You know what I mean? I was always when I was in bands, I was always really I mean, besides the fact that I played the drums and not guitar, but I was always really bad about I was always really bad about I was really bad at writing songs. It's just too many there's too many how do you choose what the shit sounds like, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's why like a lot of my comedy is based off of a lot of my comedy is not about like broad concepts. It's about like, yeah, that shit was retarded. You know what I mean? It's based off like some shit that I experienced or lived through or a topic in the news. Less so much. Yeah, maybe and also, you know what's funny too cuz it's like I always felt out of place in the context of comedy cuz like that's why I always felt like I was better at streaming and doing this kind of shit cuz it's like more direct and it's more like straightforward. And it's like, yo, I'll just pull up a video and comment on it, do things like that. Um, cause like I try to write a lot and stuff like that, but it's like I don't know what to fucking write about. And it's like I people probably be like, well, just pick something. It's like, dude, but then how do I know that's good? That's why I just need to go with my yeah, it's like the more I think about this kind of stuff, the more I just go like, just go with your instincts and just fucking go and then figure it out from there. Yeah, yeah. You just really need to get yeah, yeah, yeah. You really just need to go with your instincts on that kind of shit. Cause like, why the fuck not? I just didn't trust myself for the longest time, but I think I've reached a point where I'm like, I don't know. I know enough shit. You know what I mean? It's like every time we record a podcast, like we never discuss it before panties, and panties is mo better than it is bad. you know, we always figure it out. I think I should just go about other things like that. It's just hard when there's not. It's hard for me when there's not someone else to like bounce shit off of. Pause, and you're just kind of doing your own damn thing. Do the Gardini show in Salt Lake so I can come out. if Sean wants me there. But yeah, man. Wanted to hit you guys with a little bit of big red thoughts today. Yeah, I do think going back to earlier because I'm figuring out a title for this mini episode, but I do think the 10,000 hours thing is not like I'm not gonna say it's like just completely bullshit, but it is. Um, I'll send you a 20 to text Sean asking. No, don't do that. The fuck was I saying though? When is PITM doing a live? I don't know. We were doing it at this place called the Speakeasy, and I didn't love the location. It's a great place. Our friend Jake Stone got us in there. It's a really cool venue. It's just when you're, I don't know. I think it's hard to run a show. Well, it's hard enough to run a show in Austin on Congress because it's like the bougier, richer area. It's even harder to get people to come out to like a live podcast. I just want to do them at the Creek. I would love to just do them at the Creek. Name the episode porn. No. No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, but that's also me just being like, I don't know. I'm into like, I like making shit simpler. Let's just do it at the Creek. I should maybe talk about a topical thing today. The fucking racism. Yeah, let's just call the episode. Actually, yeah, it correlates to racism. No, did you guys see the Tourette's guy? I think Most Dope brought it up earlier. The Tourette's guy. Um the video is actually a huge bummer. So if you didn't see the video, Michael B. Jordan and the guy who I didn't realize was an actor, Pat made it a whole thing. You got tricked. No, I didn't care to check, so I don't know if that's being tricked, but either way, yeah. So the BAFTAs was that the Black Actors Fun Time Association? Is that what the BAFTAs is? I think that's what that means. But yeah, just you guys probably saw this, but just real quick.
Delroy and I
Ooh, that's loud. Okay, let's turn that down.
are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of.
Oh no, that was in the beginning of the night. Oh no, this was beginning of the night.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
That's crazy, dude. That's insane. Oh my god. Oh, the Man Boy Love Association. Runaway did first and dipped. Yo, he's a classic actor. He's the one that told dude to say the N-word on the news. Yeah, I thought that's what I was referencing before. I thought that was just the news. But it was, and that was like why I was laughing when Pat was like, "You got tricked." I was like, "No, I just didn't." Like, I don't retain information I don't absolutely need. That's why I'm really bad at explaining shit sometimes. Because like if it'll be a topic that, dude, the clip we just posted, that's a perfect example. Where like, well, maybe that's not a perfect example. But either way, there'll be like stuff I'll say, and they'll be like, I won't be able to explain it because it's like I just retained the answer. I don't need the. I mean, maybe you do need the explanation, but I just retained the answer on things. Oh yeah, but anyway, sorry. It doesn't matter. I'm getting sidetracked off of that. But yeah, the shit with the guy on the fucking news. That was a TV show. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, this is crazy though. I didn't realize it was so early in the night. But yeah, so
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
yeah, that sucks ass. Cause here's the thing, like actually, it's honestly the clip's kind of a bummer. The clip's kind of like a huge bummer. Cause it's what's his name? Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan. I liked Sinners. I think it got severely overhyped. But you know, they're at the BAFTAs. They're probably gonna win an award for Sinners. They're on stage, they're doing their thing, and then just a motherfucker hits a hard N-bomb. Even with the context of like, oh, that's the Tourette's guy. Even with that context, you're still like, even if it's Tourette's, you're like, I just don't love that being yelled at me. You know what I mean? So it's like that part of it, it's just unfortunate that had to happen. That's a bummer. And I guarantee you that dude is like, God damn, like he probably was hitting way more Tourette's because of that. Can you imagine? You know, because apparently I learned this watching that one, the Tourette's girl that Pat's in love with. I was watching the Tourette's girl that Pat's in love with. I was watching the first episode of her show, and like the big Tourette's thing with her. What the fuck? I think I think they explained it on that show where they were like, Tourette's happens a lot of times. Like it gets real bad when you're nervous. And then a lot of times they'll say something based off of the environment they're in, you know? Like I know that girl she'd have one she repeat a lot where she's like little baby wieners or whatever. But even that one, like I've heard like Tourette's, you lean into like the worst thing you could say sometimes. And Yeah, they were like, but why did he say the N-word? I was like, probably because they were black guys. Like, they were black guys. They were black guys. And damn, I don't mean to have a sidetrack, but sorry. I just had a realization on a conversation earlier where I'm talking about fucking. No, I'm talking about feeling bad for myself or be like, I'm a loser. And it's like, I don't know. I did grow up on the tail end of the fucking white people suck ass era of everything. Mix that with cancel culture. And yet, like, oh, be worried about everything you said. I'm like, I should give myself a fucking break. You know, give myself a fucking break because I think there's a lot of people like me. I'm just like, I'll pat myself on the back. Like, that's why. Well, that's why I get mad if people get overly critical of me on certain things. Is like, because I'm very I don't know, I just prefer to be an open book. And then sometimes, people put gum in the book and I go like, you're taking advantage. But that's also part of the game where it's like, you're being vulnerable, so you're setting yourself up a lot of times. That's why I get mad at fucking cagey motherfuckers. You know what I mean? It's like when a cagey motherfucker shits on you and it's like, well, no, you're kind of a pussy that won't let your fucking, won't let your wings out. You won't let your beautiful butterfly wings out. That's what I do. I spend every day opening up my beautiful butterfly wings. The problem, a lot of people get mad. A lot of people get mad at you when you're a beautiful butterfly. That's my burden. I'll accept that. But anyway, I did grow up. I didn't grow up in it. But even when I grew up, there was a lot of like, it wasn't like fuck white people. It was white people are corny. So that did make me a little self-conscious. But after I got out of school and into adulthood, um, after I got out of school and into adulthood, I was hitting that was when the like fucking white people suck ass shit was going heavy. And it's gonna, no matter your age, it's gonna do a number on you. It's almost like we should all just stop being fucking racist and be nice to each other. But anyway, this guy who yelled the N-word. Brother, it's really true. I'm a beautiful butterfly. I'm like, it really is true. I'm a beautiful butterfly and people are fucking mad about it. But yeah, he like, going back to, yes, piss out my ass. Wait, what happened? um I would wear a soundproof mask all the time if I went out in public. That person just ruined everything Tourette's people have been working on for years. I mean, I don't know about that. There's a lot of people defending him. Well, because that's the thing. It's like, I'm pretty sure with Tourette's, it is a real thing of like, your Tourette's get you to say like the worst thing possible. And people are trying to, that's where that like, that's where all that like fucking commie Marxist, like cultural Marxism bullshit has like seeped heavily into like the black community. That's where it's like a lot of that shit fuck shit up, because it's like that translates into the whole like internalized racism. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Like the internalized racism, like they phrase it as like, oh, everyone's just, or like everyone's just like, society just creates you racist and this and that. It's like, I don't know, man. I think you act a certain type of way the less people you're exposed to, and then the more people you get exposed to, the more you realize people are just people at the end of the day, and we all have our idiosyncrasies and quirks and da 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 da. So it's like, half the time they'll talk about stuff and it's like, yeah, you just talk about a motherfucker that didn't grow up around enough people. You know what I mean? But it's like, they'll talk about like the internalized racism shit, I think, where, wait, what am I trying to say? I sound stupid. I'm sorry. They'll talk about like look at that. Look at my beautiful hair. Well, I guess in context of this Tourette's guy, they're saying like, oh no, he's actually like a racist who even, because he's so racist, that's what his Tourette's do. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. Like maybe, but like, how do you even? I guess the problem too is like, how do you even fucking prove that? How do we even? Or maybe it's just the most likely thing of like, yeah, maybe Tourette's is. Honestly, it's actually like a good. It's a good. It's a good. It's a good advertisement, or it's a good like PSA for like, yeah, Tourette's is like a real thing, and it like makes your life harder, and it sucks to have it. But it's like, yeah, that's the part really. Because it almost, it's like people are like, we should do something about this. I go, the guy actually probably feels horrendous. He actually probably feels really fucking bad for doing that. You know what I mean? Can you imagine you just had a neurological disorder that just made you say shit that bummed people out? You know what I mean? That would be the absolute fucking worst. That would be the absolute worst. Like, I'm sure he feels really terrible about it. It's just like, can we just chalk it up to an unfortunate thing? You know what I mean? It's like, it didn't get that rampant online, but there were a lot of comments that were just like, yeah, we got to do something about it. Like what? Like, not like, I mean, do you have a cure for Tourette's? It's just like weird thing where it's like, I don't know I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. It's just like, yeah, dude, he has Tourette's, the thing that makes you scream shit randomly. And he just unfortunately said the worst word that we all hate. It's just like, I don't think the dudes, I don't, I don't think we have to have a whole fucking thing about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really gave a good answer to any of that, but I'm just being me, guys. And this also too, it's like, I feel like that whole explanation just like sucked ass. I think you guys seem to like me. Um, this is also too. I just want to focus on. I used to that kind of goes hand in hand with some other shit too. I really wanted to. I don't know. I always had this dream of like I want to be like Dave Smith for retarded dudes, and then it's shit. And that's why I've always been pushing myself to be like a guy who knows things. So it's like we talk about it and we talk about this, and I'm gonna get people to think more like libertarians. I'm gonna get, which is like, it'd be cool. Like, I'm not saying like I think it's cool. It's fucking awesome that Dave does that. That's why I'm a huge Dave Smith fan. But it's like I wish I could do that. I've been trying to, like, that's been part of my thing too. I've been trying to be the guy that does that, but it's like I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And I just have I can't avoid my need to create. It's why, like, topics like this, it's like, I don't know, just a thing that makes everyone uncomfortable and will break apart, and we gotta make everything awkward, and it's like nothing's fun about this topic. It's like, yeah, no, I'd rather, and you're not supposed to think this stuff's art or whatever the fuck, but it is in like a weird way. And it's like, yeah, no, I don't know. I used to like see these topics, and it's like, going back to the whole fucking like, yeah, I'm gonna get huge, and I'm gonna be the biggest podcaster in the world and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, these topics are more attractive. Now I'm just like, I'm just in it for the fucking, doing my art, doing my retard art. You know what I mean? So it's like topics like this. I go like, I mean, I can make it I can make it the title and like it, but is it gonna be a good pod? You know what I mean? It was but I feel like I trailed off at the end, trying to break down internalized racism. That should also be a thing too for like people like that. Like, you don't feel like fucking gay for talking like this. It's hard to like explain. It's like for a guy like me, it's hard to like explain they're wrong. It's probably partially because I just grew up being a white pussy my whole life. But it's like hard to verbalize. But like, you don't just feel gay being like, well, we need to fight the fuck. It's like, I don't know. He's a guy who's with Tourette's screaming. It sucks that it happened, but like, I don't know if we need to figure this out. All right, well, go be a scientist and cure his racist Tourette's. But yeah, man, I have this need to create and do art. But I don't know. I view a lot of that stuff differently than most people, in my opinion. Because I don't know. I was explaining to like my wife, I was like, dude, watching chefs cook is more art. Like, Pat was talking about it too, where like there's that one fucking dumb bitch who was like saying MMA, mixed martial, which is not art. And you're like, I don't know, man. Like acting to me, like it's like all that stuff's art. Like acting, painting, comedy, music. It's all art, but it's like, I don't know, a lot. I don't get that satisfaction. Like the way I get the satisfaction of expressing myself in real time on here, like is satisfying. It's the other reason why, like writing a song, you just go like, yeah, I sit here and I work on this forever and I fine tune it till it's perfect. And then we put it out and then we just play it over and over again, and people go like, that's amazing. Yeah. Cause we like, to me, the stuff that's more interesting and more impressive, it's like comedians will do like, oh, that guy's set crushes. It's like, yeah, the jokes he's been doing for 3 years. And it's not to take away the hard work and all the like places he's gone and all that. But it's like, yeah, like he better be good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if someone told, like even any of my good friends, like Nate and Lemaire, who I think they're two of the funniest comedians. I'd be like, yo, Lemaire crushed. It's like, was he doing any new material? No. It's like, well, he better crush. What are you talking about? Why wouldn't he? Like, it's, I don't want that to be a dismissive, but it's just like, for me, I'm always just like, I just personally, I go like, that doesn't satisfy me the right way. That's why I've always been a bigger fan of doing the podcast. Like, yo, let's just all be funny guys and we don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to make something in the moment. That's why I always forget the dude's name, but he's a really good like blues rock musician. He's one of those guys who's got like, he's kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to be mean. His face he looks like a monster. I forget the guy's name. But like because he was on Matt and Shane a while ago, so he fucks with like Lemaire and Gardini and shit, and they were doing like, they did like the fucking like HEB arena or some shit, one of the big venues, and then they went to this like small little honky tonk bar, and the bar was full, but like Lemaire and Sean got us in there. And we were going, and they were just playing, like they were playing I don't know, they were playing fucking songs I've heard 1,000 times, but it was like them jamming, and they were playing like for a while, and like just creating a thing in the moment. That's why I'm like a way bigger fan of like the live performance and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. And again, it's why something almost like cooking or MMA feels like more of art than traditional art. Because it's more about like you gain all these skills and then you're like you gain all these skills and then it's just going to go, now show me you can do it. As opposed to like stand up, it's like you're just like you're reciting a thing you've memorized. There's nuances to the moment. It's why it's like I got no time for people who shit on crowd work. Oh, crowd work sucks because you've seen a bad version of it? Okay, thank you. Mike Birbiglia. Sorry, I love Birbiglia. I think I got his book over there somewhere. Yeah, right there. I literally have his book, Sleepwalk with Me. But I got more annoyed because of I got annoyed with him because of how much I like Mike Birbiglia. I got more annoyed because I'm big. I'm a big guy. I like Birbigs, but I got annoyed with him because of how much I like him. And yeah, he was like being like, "Oh, crowd work's stupid," and I go like, "Okay." I forget what the fuck it was. But it doesn't matter. I don't have to shit on Mike Birbiglia. But he was just shitting on crowd work. And I was like, he was like shitting on crowd work. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Fuck. What was my original point? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Because it's like crowd work clips are easy to make and people can just post whatever they want online. But you're like, okay, so like what does that make? Because there's a lot of bad crowd work clips. Now crowd work is bad. You know what I mean? Okay, so what? Patrice and Todd Barry and Big J and all those guys just never did comedy. Like that's not also part of it. And then also too, it's like people go like, oh, it's cheating. And I go like, okay, so just we all work really hard to get really funny. And then showing people that you're just naturally really, not naturally, but like you just in the moment are really funny. That's cheating. Because what? Oh, you said, what do you do for a living or whatever? That's cheating. But you know what isn't cheating? That thing you've fine-tuned and you figure out the perfect way that it crushes every time. Because that's the reality. That's the reality. Once a joke is good, it does good pretty much all the time as long as you put in the actual effort to tell it good. You know what I mean? Like, it's this kind of shit when you get your jokes good enough and you actually get good at comedy, and then people are like, you don't bomb anymore. You don't like outside of just freak occurrences. You're not, and they'll be like, "Oh, I bombed." It's like, "What? Oh, I was trying out." Oh, you haven't figured the joke out yet. But that's the reality. Once you like figure a joke out, it does okay to great every single time. It's the reality. I don't know. But like, yeah, I don't know. Reciting a monologue is not cheating, but just thinking of shit in the moment to make people laugh, like creating a thing in that instant, that's cheating. The thing you memorized and have been doing for almost a decade is not cheating. Well, depends on who you are. But either way, most comedians put out a special every 3, 4, 5 years. The monologue you memorized is not cheating. You know what I mean? And that's my thing is like, I don't think it is. But like, just, it's fine. Because also to the reality is it's like, also like, especially with Birbiglia, you might also just be, oh wait, I thought you guys weren't commenting. You've been commenting the whole time. I was like, what's going on? I just didn't scroll down enough. The other thing with Mike Birbiglia, you also just might be bad at crowd work. You can also just say that. You know what I mean? I can't play the guitar very well. I don't say the guitar is bullshit. Just, it's fine. Birbigs, we like you a lot. We all like you a lot. Just say you don't know how to do crowd work. When I heard internalized racism, I thought of my mixed friend who I'm darker than, always thinks everything is racist. Yeah, that is a funny firm. There's a there's always like that black dude that is, when he starts talking, you're always just like, oh, so this is the thing you think about constantly, because he just associates every single thing with racism, and you're like, and you don't think this makes you not fun to be around. Like if something doesn't like him, he immediately goes to it's I'm black. Yeah, that's again where I feel real bad for black people, because I think that's where a lot of black leaders let them down, because they've sort of like promoted that mentality. You know, it's almost like, and I know he's my favorite comedian ever, but it's like the Patrice thing. He's like, I can't say. It's like he's like those moments where it's like I forget, how did he say it? He's like, I can't explain what's racist, but I know something racist. It's something like that, whatever the fuck it is. But in actuality, those are the moments where it's like, probably wasn't racist. Probably wasn't racism, dude. And you know what's funny too, even about that, there are probably a lot of moments where, as a black, I mean, as anyone, but also mainly as a black person, there's probably a lot of moments where little things happen and they might be like fueled a little bit for racism, but they might be fueled a little bit from racism. But you know, do you want to spend your whole day analyzing micro interactions? You know, that's kind of too where I'm like, a lot of black leaders, I feel, let normal black people down, where they were like, they've sort of been like, you need to spend your day micro analyzing every interaction to figure out if it was racist and how racist it was. They're like, okay, I did that. What do I do with it? You can't do nothing. You can't do anything with that. It's just going to make your day worse. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously, like, understand racism to keep yourself safe and protect yourself and, you know, make sure people aren't disrespecting you or whatever the fuck. But I mean, if you're going to micro analyze every little fucking thing, it's like, and you know, you're guaranteeing yourself to find shit that's not there. It's like you're just asking, you're just choosing to be tormented all day. Marcus King, yeah. Dave Smith for retarded dudes. Louis J. Gomez, no. Louis, well, maybe now. Louis loves to be like, politics are gay. Anyway, here's my take on politics. You're like, well, you can't be both, sir. Isn't Dave Smith for retarded dudes for Dave Smith? No. Dave's actually pretty fucking smart. Where do you stand on Aesop Rock? I am very ambiguous. I remember I was my boy Clay, who we play Munchkins with all the time. He was he's a huge Aesop Rock fan, and I respect Clay's interest in rap. So I was checking out some more. It's not a big fan of his beats. Not a big fan of his beats. I actually realized I like sampling a lot more. Do not dislike him. Not a huge Aesop Rock fan. How's crowd work bad? People do songs, puppets who sing songs, motherfuckers use props. Why is crowd work bad? Crowd work's an easy target because there's like, so it's just, in the age of content, it's the easiest way to get content out, is to post crowd work clips. So like, people overpost clips just because they know they'll go viral. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of shit people will be like, that's bad, and then you'll be like, well, what about this really good version of it? You're like, no, that's good. Okay, so you just don't like bad stuff. It's kind of like when I was talking to Pat about Pat always, he hasn't done it in a while, but he would do this every time. He'd bring up CGI and he'd be like, I hate everything's CGI. Well, he also would make if I could guess, keep this between us, if I could shit on Pat real quick. Well, no, he does the whole thing. He does that thing where he's like, oh, it's live action. Well, it's majority CGI, so it's like you're like, yes, yeah. But like, you understand the difference is like, they're not trying to make it a cartoon. They're trying to portray it as realistic. So that's why they call it live action. But no, the fucking point was I trying to bring up. Yeah, that was like the point I was trying to say with Pat when he was talking about CGI. And then I brought up movies. I was like, I think I said Avatar. I brought up a couple movies that were like heavy CGI, and I was like, you like that one? He's like, yeah. I was like, so you just like, but you don't like bad CGI. That's fine. Just like, if you don't like the bad version of something, or if you just hate the bad version of something, that doesn't then constitute the whole thing. So it's like with CGI, I go, because you got to remind yourself, you're like, okay, if the movie was all CGI but it ripped, could it still look good enough that you wouldn't care? You're like, yeah, of course. But then I go like, I'm trying to think like a genre like dubstep or whatever that like. It's like dubstep or that aggressive. It's this like aggressive type of dubstep. I hear I would hear it doing CrossFit a lot of times. Like CrossFit people do it. And it's like devoid of like melody and stuff like that. And like I'll be honest, I've heard Skrillex, and Skrillex is pretty good, but Skrillex is kind of fun for a little bit. But at the end of the day, though, like even like Skrillex to me, I'm probably gonna get shit from actual dubstep fans, but I don't respect you, so that doesn't matter. But like Skrillex to me is like he's the peak of dubstep. And even I know he makes a lot of electronic shit, but even his dubstep stuff he would make, I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty fucking stupid. So it's like to me, in general, the genre of dubstep kind of sucks ass. Because it'd be like, I can't really think of a good version of it. It's like a lot of it's like devoid of melody and all that kind of stuff. And it's just yeah. So it's like but but then correlating into like, well, crowd work sucks. It's like, well, no, we can think of a million examples of good crowd work. So it's like you can't just because something, it's like that's also the nature of things nowadays, man. Everything's oversaturated. So it's like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Be an active member of society and just do your part to ignore the bullshit. I don't know what to tell you. Probably like chill shit more. That's his radio hits. Rocky has really got good slow songs. He hates everything CGI tells him. Jackie does his own stunts. Wait, Rocky? Mars is pretty racist. The red planet, it's Native American. Uranus is racist. Yeah, I only let white dudes in there. Burbig is the TED Talk of comedy. Burbig's hilarious. He just, I don't know, can't do. Shout out Billy. Shout out Spud. Actually, dude, new War Mode with Nick Bryant really went hard. I hear more country music that hits than dubstep. Yeah. Even the worst country in the world, like Post Malone had that country album where he's like, I did it by myself. I was actually catching a few songs on there. I was humming to myself. Hey, I gotta get out of here and go record a fucking retarded podcast with my black friends. I will see you guys. I'll see if Pat wants to record tomorrow. If not, we'll see you on Wednesday. I love you all. Bye bye.